Imagine Rome at the height of its glory, yet standing on the edge of collapse. Two legends rise above everyone else: Julius Caesar, brilliant, fearless, adored by soldiers; Gnaeus Pompeius Magnus, Pompey the Great, undefeated general, powerful, respected, and deeply proud. They were once allies. They shared victories. They shared power, but power always demands more. Soon, friendship would become rivalry. Rivalry would become hatred. And hatred would ignite the war that would kill the Roman Republic. Because history doesn't always fall from the outside. Sometimes it is destroyed by the men who love power the most. Before we dive in, hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell, because what you're about to hear is the story of ambition, betrayal, and destiny colliding. And write in the comments, where are you watching from? Now, let's begin. Julius Caesar was not born powerful. He grew up in a Rome full of corruption, debt, and political violence. But Caesar had three weapons: charisma, intelligence, and absolute fearlessness. He charmed the people, he manipulated the Senate, and when words weren't enough, he turned to the sword. His campaigns in Gaul transformed him from politician into legend. For 8 brutal years, Caesar fought tribes, rebellions, winter, starvation, and still emerged victorious. His soldiers adored him. They followed him not because they had to, but because they believed in him. And Caesar knew something dangerous. With an army behind me, or Rome is mine. On the other side stood Pompey, older, wiser, celebrated. He had crushed pirates, expanded Rome's territory, and walked through the city in triumph more than once. He had earned everything, but Pompey feared one thing: Caesar's rise. The Senate whispered in Pompey's ear, "Caesar is becoming too powerful. If he returns with his army, there will be no republic left." Slowly, carefully, Rome divided into 2 camps: those loyal to Caesar, the man of the people; those loyal to Pompey, the man defending tradition. What began as politics was now becoming fate. By law, Caesar could not bring his army into Italy. He was ordered to return to Rome alone. If he obeyed, he would lose power and probably his life. If he disobeyed, he would start a civil war. One cold night, Caesar stood before the Rubicon River, the boundary no general was allowed to cross. He looked at the dark water. He hesitated. Then he spoke the words that changed history. "The die is cast," Caesar crossed. Rome was now at war with itself. Citizens fled, senators panicked. Pompey gathered his armies. Friend against friend, brother against brother, and the world held its breath. Because from this point onward, only one of them could rule. When Caesar crossed the Rubicon, he expected fierce resistance. But something shocking happened. City after city opened its gates. Governors surrendered. Some senators even switched sides. Why? Because Caesar wasn't just a general, he was a symbol. To the poor, he promised justice. To the soldiers, he promised reward. To the ambitious, he promised opportunity. And Rome always follows whoever offers hope. Meanwhile, Pompey was stunned. The Senate had assured him that Caesar had no support. But reality was different, terrifyingly different. Pompey realized, we are not ready for this war. He needed time, he needed resources. And above all, he needed an army large enough to crush Caesar in one decisive battle. So Pompey made a strategic decision. He would not fight in Italy. Instead, he evacuated the Senate and fled across the sea to Greece to rebuild, recruit, and prepare. To many Romans, it looked like retreat. But Pompey wasn't running, he was planning. Caesar entered Rome not as a conqueror, but as a ruler who already believed Rome belonged to him. There were no great battles, no walls burning, no streets flooded with blood. Instead, Caesar acted quickly and intelligently. He spoke to the people. He promised stability. He calmed the markets. He demanded loyalty but gave mercy. Even his enemies were surprised. He pardoned many of the senators who had insulted him. He let old rivals live. It wasn't kindness, it was strategy. Caesar wanted Rome to see him as the savior, not the tyrant. But he knew Pompey was gathering power in the east, and every day Caesar waited, Pompey grew stronger. So Caesar made another bold move. He took his legions and sailed after him. Greece became the stage for destiny. Pompey now commanded a massive army, far larger than Caesar's. Noble families, foreign kings, veterans of old wars, they all joined him. To many, the outcome seemed obvious. Pompey had numbers. Pompey had resources, Pompey had the Senate. But Caesar had something else, the loyalty of men who had followed him through hell. They trusted his instincts, they believed his luck was divine, and they knew he would stand in the front lines with them. Night after night, both camps trained, planned, sharpened blades, and wondered, who will be the master of Rome? Because this wasn't just a military struggle. It was the battle between two visions of the world. Pompey's Rome, ruled by the Senate, tradition, and the old elite. Caesar's Rome, ruled by one powerful leader promising order and glory. And as both armies faced each other across the plains, the air itself seemed to tremble. The Republic was suffocating, waiting for the blow that would finish it. The storm was building, and soon it would explode. The battlefield chosen was Pharsalus in Greece. Dust, heat, and silence hung in the air. Two armies, once brothers under the same republic, now faced one another across the plain. On one side stood Pompey, confident and calm. He had nearly double Caesar's soldiers. He believed time itself was his ally. His generals argued, wait, let Caesar attack first. His men will tire. Then we crush them, Pompey agreed. Across the field, Caesar studied Pompey's formation carefully. He saw hesitation, he saw pride, and he saw opportunity. Caesar turned to his men and spoke simply, "Today, everything we have lived for is at stake. Fight not for me, fight for Rome and for your own future." His soldiers slammed their shields, ready. Caesar's front lines surged forward. Normally, soldiers sprint across the battlefield, but Caesar had taught his men differently. Halfway across the field, and he ordered them to stop. They paused, rested, reformed ranks, then charged again, fresh, disciplined, precise. Pompey's cavalry thundered out to smash Caesar's flanks. The move everyone expected would decide the battle. But Caesar had prepared a secret weapon, a hidden line of veteran spearmen, ordered to attack only the horses, not the riders. In moments, Pompey's proud cavalry was in chaos. Horses panicked, riders fell. The advantage was gone. Pompey watched in disbelief. This was not the battle he had imagined. Caesar pushed forward like a storm. His legions advanced shield by shield, step by step, unstoppable. Pompey's army began to fold. The once calm, strategic commander felt fear creep in. His men looked for orders, but he hesitated. He had never lost a great battle before. And now, as soldiers broke and ran, Pompey could only whisper, "This cannot be happening." But it was. The lines collapsed. Men begged for mercy, standards fell. The pride of the Roman Republic shattered on the field of Pharsalus. And Caesar, seeing victory was his, did not gloat. He simply nodded because he understood. This was not just a victory. It was the death sentence of the Republic. Pompey escaped the battlefield, no banners. No triumph, only silence and shame. He fled across the sea toward Egypt, hoping for allies, hoping for safety. But fate was cruel. When he arrived, the young pharaoh, fearing Caesar's power, made a decision to impress Rome's new master. Pompey was lured to shore under the promise of friendship and murdered. A lifetime of victories ended with a knife on a lonely beach. When Caesar saw Pompey's severed head, he reportedly turned away, saddened. Because even in rivalry, there had once been respect. And now, one chapter of Rome had closed forever. The world had changed, but Caesar's story, though, was far from over. Caesar emerged from the ashes of Pharsalus as the unquestioned master of Rome. But Rome was no longer the republic he had fought under. It was something new, something fragile, something dangerous. As he returned, crowds filled the streets with cheers. Flowers rained down, trumpets echoed off marble walls. To the people, Caesar was a hero, the man who ended chaos. But behind the applause, one question whispered through the city. If Caesar rules alone, what becomes of the Republic? Caesar moved quickly. He forgave old enemies. He rebuilt cities torn by war. He passed laws to feed the poor, settle veterans, and stabilize the economy. He reformed the calendar. He organized provinces. He cut through the corruption that had poisoned Rome for decades. And people said, perhaps a single strong leader is what Rome needs. But absolute power doesn't just solve problems. It changes the man who holds it. Soon, statues rose not only to honor Caesar, but to glorify him. Coins carried his face. The Senate granted him titles like dictator for life. Many senators smiled in public, but in private, they felt the ice of fear. A republic built on debate, elections, and limits was now bending around one man's will. Was Caesar a reformer, or was he becoming a king in everything but name? Among Rome's elite grew a quiet panic. They remembered the legends, the early kings of Rome driven out so no man would ever rule alone again. And they looked at Caesar and saw authority, popularity, control of the army, control of the state. Some admired him, others hated him. A group began to whisper, "If Caesar lives, the Republic dies. If Caesar dies and the Republic may live." The decision they made would echo through centuries. March 15th. Morning sunlight spilled across the forum as Caesar walked toward the Senate chamber. He believed himself safe, protected by fame, protected by mercy, protected by destiny, but destiny can betray. As Caesar took his seat, the conspirators drew close, pretending to plead, pretending to speak, pretending to serve. Then, steel flashed, a first stab. Then another, then chaos. Friends, rivals, patriots, traitors, all striking. History remembers one moment, Caesar turning to see Brutus, someone he trusted, among them. The blade descended. The man who had conquered nations, crossed forbidden rivers, shattered armies, fell at the feet of the Senate. And silence swallowed Rome. The conspirators believed they had saved the Republic. Instead, they unleashed something far worse. Rome didn't return to balance. It fell into deeper civil wars, bloodier, longer, merciless. Caesar's allies rose, Mark Antony, Lepidus, and the quiet, calculating heir, Octavian. In time, it would be Octavian, later named Augustus, who completed what Caesar began. The Republic ended. The Roman Empire was born. Kings were gone in name, but emperors now ruled forever. Julius Caesar remains one of history's great paradoxes. He destroyed the Republic, yet brought order. He sought power, yet dreamed of reform. He won everything, yet lost his life to fear. And Pompey? His shadow lingers as the last great defender of the old system. A man crushed not by incompetence, but by history's unstoppable tide. The showdown between Caesar and Pompey didn't just decide who ruled Rome. It decided what Rome would become, and the world has never been the same since.